5:59.
I'm sorry, you're fast. Okay.
We can start
Well,
now.
I was recording on my phone.
I'm sorry.
6 o'clock. Be slow.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone tonight, and at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And our first item is going to be the Pledge of Allegiance, which y'all please stand, please.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Your next item is going to be a moment of silence. Would y'all please join us? Thank you. Your next item is student spotlight.
We were scheduled
Okay.
we'll do it next month because no school today, so.
Oh, okay. Then our next item is going to be discussion and possible action to elect a board chair.
I nominate Kathleen Price. I'll make a motion to nominate Kathleen Price for board chair.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay. Yes, I'm still with you. Our next item is going to be discussion of possible action to elect the vice chair. And I nominate Russell Cassidy.
Thank you.
Okay. And need a
Second.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Our next item is going to be approval to enter into executive session in pursuit to KRS 61810F. And I'm going to need a motion.
Make a motion.
Have a motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
Have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we stand in executive session.
You need to stay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very well. That's Will.
Wonderful, right away.
Thank you.
Hey, Ms. Robertson, get up. Thanks. That's 2 items.
Don't start your closed session yet, I got a camera running.
All right, now, Walt.
Don't need that.
So let's
Okay. Okay, our next item is going to be discussion of possible action to establish a regular meeting schedule. Does anyone have any preference on when we meet?
We're currently second Monday at 6 p.m.
Yes.
I'm good with that.
Me too.
Council's already set for next day, so let's
Take a
get to
motion
that.
to that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a
Well,
motion. Okay,
discussion.
okay, discussion, okay.
I'm glad it's not at 8 p.m., 8 a.m. in the morning. I agree with my colleagues here.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second, all in favor of keeping it as it is, say aye.
I see you read my memo.
Ms. Walker, the second. No, Mr. McCoy. Was Did you say Mr. McCoy?
No,
No, it's
Okay.
Mr. Dawson.
my friend here did.
Made the motion.
Made the motion.
Oh, then I did second it.
Yes, Mr. McCoy. Thank you very much. I have it.
Me and Dan, we've been out together last night.
Yeah.
Inside joke.
Okay,
Not for those who were here for the session.
so we will remain the second Tuesday.
Monday.
Second Monday at 6 p.m.
Yes,
Sorry.
I got it.
It's been a long day, I had to stay home all day. Next item's gonna be discussion of
Well,
possible
one
action.
moment on that, that particular item. I don't think we have a policy on how long that these are to run. But I know that some boards of education, that I've talked to board members at the state training, they have a time limit on their meetings. I just wish that maybe others would think about it and see what you think. I think the brain gets kind of tired after, 6 hours. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't discuss everything that we're supposed to discuss. I'm just saying, do you ever think about having time limits and when to reopen the meeting, whether it be the following day or whatever?
I know a lot of them do have set times.
Yeah, I've been told that, so
So,
just food for thought.
you wanna let everyone think about it, and we can put it on the next agenda for
I
next
know in the
month?
past we've had long meetings, it's not been a real big issue
It hasn't been an issue.
like I would.
It hasn't been an issue.
I've got 3.5-hour videos that say otherwise.
But I mean, with executive sessions going and
Right.
we never know.
Or maybe have a separate meeting for our executive sessions?
No,
No,
no.
can't, no, okay.
Okay, we'll think about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Next week.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to muddy the waters.
That's fine.
Or muddle.
Thank you for that information. Okay, our next item is gonna be discussion and possible action on board minutes from January the 8th, 2018. Does anyone have any questions or comment on this? If not, I'm gonna need a motion to accept.
Make a motion.
Have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Have a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? This motion carries. Okay, next item is discussion and possible action on comprehensive district improvement plan.
Is this the third reading?
Well, no, I think it was tabled last month because I wasn't able to be here
Yes.
to explain any questions that you might have. The district improvement plan is based on all of the schools' improvement plans. Once those are compiled, we try to look at activities that we can coordinate at the district level for teacher training or professional cadres that they might go to at either KEDC or KVEC, or to provide extra assistance during leadership meetings or during their PLCs. We try to make it as much job embedded as we can.
Question, if this proposed budget that the governor has in Frankfurt concerning the education cuts, that it definitely will be part of it, isn't PD also mentioned there that the district would have to pick up the costs for PD, professional development?
Yes,
sir.
Along with other things, but,
yes.
okay, I thought that was it.
So
Are we
we're-
required to have professional development?
Yes,
By whom?
by KRS, 24 hours for each teacher.
Imagine
Each year.
that.
Okay. But now, if this budget passes,
Would
we
be
would be paying for it.
a state mandate with a local cost.
State mandate, local cost. Along with a large percentage of our transportation, which is, well, never mind, I'll get on my soapbox some other time.
Maybe,
Yes, sir.
that'll come up later. It's on,
That was what?
it's on here, I'll have that here in just a few minutes.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Okay.
I know, I read your paper, and we talked earlier also, last week. Okay, good.
So we tabled this last time? Oh, we read it. Make a motion.
Okay, you will make a motion to,
This will be the first reading.
okay,
No, it's just an approval, it's just a plan.
okay,
I'll second it.
okay. Motion, I have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Our next item is going to be a conference request, vehicle request, fundraisers, and use of district property. Is there any questions on any of these for discussion?
I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary on there.
We don't have very many of them that have already passed the dates. Most schools are getting them in on time,
Yes.
but there were a couple, but I think, or three. And there are also, in this request forms, there's some forms that are not totally filled out. They're signed, but maybe I'm missing something. Yeah, like this
Okay.
form. This form is a school-related student trip request, and it's signed by the correct authorities, but it doesn't say
Mhm.
everything, does it?
Oh, yeah, I think so. They just typed it, so it looks like it's not. There's the class trip, and then who's the chaperones for the trip. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as that lady on Saturday Night Live would say, never mind.
Gilda Radner.
Okay, if no one else has any
Gilda,
comment or something, I
Gilda
need a
Radner.
motion.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion, I'll have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The next item is discussion of possible actions on paid warrants in the amount of $1,653,083.75, which includes items paid outside the board in the amount of $146,546.29. Is there anything on that anybody has a question on or a comment?
The vast majority is construction.
Yes. If not, I'm going to need a motion to accept.
I'll make it.
Okay, I have a motion, I need a second. I'll second. Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item, discussion of possible action on the orders of the treasurer for 2/12/2018 in the amount of $2,413,107.97.
The items that makes up is, it's 1.6 million for the new high school. There's 437,000 for bonding, and normal operation is 339,000.
Mr. Hill, on the first page of the orders of the treasurer, I just need a clarification. Walmart Community GEMB. GEMB.
That is the bank, it's General Electric. I don't remember what that is. I think the M stands for mutual, it's General Electric Mutual Bank. It's just their servicing bank that they use for that.
Okay, and we pay that bank?
Well, it goes to Walmart. It goes to Walmart. They just use it for servicing.
If I may, it's if anyone uses the Walmart card, a family resource, or if a teacher goes and gets supplies, it's across the district. But it's one bill, correct?
Okay. Are there many cards out there? I mean, does you?
No.
There's a card for each. It's not a credit card. It is an account card. And each section, has their own, so that it splits the cost up and we can keep track of it that way.
So you can keep track of that, okay. Because that was $5,700, that's all, okay, thank you.
Okay.
No other questions?
Anyone else have a question or
But
comment?
that doesn't come out of our funds, right? That comes out of
Still is
FRC.
incorporated.
Okay, if no more questions, or I need a motion.
Motion made.
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
Have a second, all in favor say aye. Opposed, the motion carries. Next item is discussion of possible action on letter of agreement with Advanced Kentucky. It's Martin County Middle School.
And Mr. Honey was here, did he leave? This is just, we applied back in the fall, I believe it was, and we were accepted into their first middle school, or I guess it's the second middle school cohort for algebra and teaching higher level curriculum at the middle school. And so this is just the approval of the letter of agreement with them. They will provide professional development for our teachers, and they will pay for it, so it's at no cost to us.
And we're already doing that at the high school.
Yes, you've all joined the high school agreement last year, and so we now have the opportunity to have our middle school participate.
I'll make a motion. A motion, I need a second.
Second.
And a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is discussion and possible action to Martin County staffing policy for school year 2018 and 2019.
Probably should let Ernest go first, but Ernest can speak. I'll tell you why. We need to get smaller because of the accrued costs that we know
Sorry.
what's gonna cost more next year, and that's not even counting what, you know, the governor, they take the governor's budget, whatever. This doesn't even take account of that. It's what's, the more we have to pay next year is what we know at this point. If that makes sense.
Okay, I want to review some things that are happening with possible action on the state budget and some actual costs that are already been imposed on us. The proposed, for state budget concerns, proposed pass, it's proposed that pass-through costs to the district on current state paid insurance costs. They pay what's called on behalf at the state level for the employer portion, which is on insurance, the state is the employer. And they're planning on, it's in the budget as of right now, that they plan on passing 6.25% of that down to the district level. And that would mean that the district would be picking up around, you know, depends on what plans they are, but this is an estimate of $151,000 a year if that passes and it's pushed down to the district level. Another item is the proposed reduction for transportation payments to the district from the state, which is, the current amount is $655,000, and they're wanting to reduce it to $262,000, which we would have to absorb the difference in the cost of $393,000. Now, actual stuff that's already happened. Flex Focus funds, which take in consideration the textbook and instructional resources, that reduction has already happened. It went from, at the start of the year, $47,755. They cut it in half this year. And for next year, they're reducing it, if that stays in effect, it'll reduce down to zero, which will lose the whole $47,700. Following on Flex Focus, there's professional development that Mr. McCoy was speaking of. This year it was $26,600. They cut it in half, or just almost in half. But the plan is to reduce it to zero for next year, and we would lose the entire $26,600. The Frisky or Family Resource, they've already made a reduction in it. It went from $266 down to $244. We've lost $21,000 there. on summary. I'm glad you're sitting down. So when you add all these things up, when you take flex focus, instructional, the professional development, cut on Frisky, proposed insurance pass-through, the transportation reduction if it passes, the step increases, which will happen this summer, the benefits on normal step increase, and these are estimates depending on, the staffing. And then there is a increase that's already mandated, that the CERS is going from 19.8% on the employer cost to 28.15%. And it's estimated with our staffing as of right now, it'll increase our cost on the retirement for CERS, $385,000, which brings us to a nice tidy sum of $1.3 million. That if everything goes through, that's what we'll have to come up with next year, or reduce down, or something. That's the difference from this year to next.
So what is the increased cost right now that we know is gonna happen?
That's gonna happen right now with estimated with what we have. The step increases, 180 to 190,000. Normal benefit,
That's for sure.
That's for sure.
that's, well,
Right.
yeah, with the staffing as of now. And then the benefits is around 128,000, that's a for sure. And then if something doesn't happen, it is for sure that the increase on CERS is gonna go up to the 29.15. And we know for sure that the governor's already cut the flex, the instructional, and the professional development, and he has already cut Frisky that amount. So only thing really is left as a if is the insurance and transportation. And that's gonna be with the new budget, that'll be in with that as the proposed as of right now.
So, one other question comes up, which I read on KSBA, was the corporate tax reduction 38, which includes utility tax money, which we get. So that's gonna go from, what, 38 to 21, somewhere in that neighborhood? So how much money is that gonna cost us on the?
I don't have that number.
But that's gonna
Let's
cost us money too.
That's gonna cost us
And Kentucky Power, with their increase, it's gonna be another 8 to 10,000 per school that we'll be paying next year.
money.
That so that's $50,000 more right there that we know. So,
Bring out the wood burners.
What,
I got something, then they rescinded it, and then this is where we're at right now. He said between 8 and 10. Actual
Per
cost.
school.
Per school. So,
Plus, you're gonna lose utility tax monies, right?
Yes.
Because of the corporate tax, which I guess that's the federal tax,
Who's getting it?
the big tax cut,
Who's gonna get
but
It just won't be
that you're supposed to
charged.
get, but we're not actually getting it because,
It just goes away tax.
so therefore you lose
Lose
big
revenue.
amount in utility tax because the power company's got to be cut
So,
unless they pass through, which apparently they're gonna pass a reduction, but their reduction on to us, but we're gonna be reduced in our utility tax intake.
and the reason we're bringing up the staffing allocation now, because the schools have to have it by next month, 1st of March. So it's bare bones. There are some differences, and I think I showed you, or most of you anyway, you had a chance to look at it. And if it comes out that, we can give it back, then absolutely, I'll bring it to your attention, say, okay, we can do this, we can afford it. But we need to protect ourselves, and in my opinion, you can always give it. You can always give it back. If you give it now, you can't take it away. So It's my recommendation.
And to follow up, just so you know, these are cuts that are happening and could possibly happen. Now, I wanted to give you an update on property tax, because we got our first checks. February of this year, we got 972,000. The first check for last year was 1.1 million, so we are down 205 as of right now. Now, we could make this up, and we could get a better second, March check. It could be better than the 17 check, but we won't know that until next month. But as of now, compared to last year, we're running short 205,000.
Just like your households, we gotta learn to live within our means.
Yeah.
And this isn't something you want to count on.
No.
Maybe less people paying their property taxes.
We won't know,
Well, June and July, really.
we'll know for sure by June, but it's usually, you get a big check in February, you get a smaller check, and well, let's say a small check, not smaller, because it sounds like it's almost the same, but a small check, and then just
Right.
probably tens of thousands on that last check, and then after that, it'll go into delinquent, and you'll pick it up whenever you can pick it up. So, yeah. With us being 205 last year, the next check was in the 200 and some thousands. So we are having issues.
We knew it was coming.
We knew it was coming. And
It hasn't come yet. I don't see, ladies and gentlemen, how anybody with half the sense God gave a goose can say anything, but this is an attack on public education. Furthermore, I see it, look at the transportation costs. It is going to cost the mountain counties much more because we have to drive further than it will, hurt the metro sections of Lexington, Louisville, and Bowling Green, and thereabout. What can you do about it? If all of you need to call a number and leave a message, not only for your representatives, but for anybody else, including the governor of the state. That number, which I didn't bring, is what? Oh, man. I will, Ronnie, I'll get it to you. Maybe you can put it in the paper. I have called several times. I will report to the board, since you encouraged me to go to that meeting where other board members were there, and then we found out where the cuts were taking place in this budget, and we then were let loose to lobby in Frankfurt. I went a couple of weeks ago. I can report to you that I spoke with both of your representatives, Senator Ray Jones and Representative Chris Harris. Both of them assured me that they were not for any of these cuts in education, and I believe them. I spoke with other representatives who, only one representative spoke. I spoke with about 5 others, and only one of them said that these cuts were in line with what we needed in Kentucky. The rest of them all didn't. You must take control and do what you can. Tell your neighbors to call the 800 number. I will put it on my website tonight if you wish to look at that, and I'll also give it to the paper, and I'll give it to your website.
Just tag me.
You have it? Okay. Do you have the number with you right now?
No.
Okay. But you must make these calls. You must tell them that we can't afford it. They're closing the schools down, is what they're doing. And it's all because there's a man down in Frankfurt that wants charter schools. That's what it's all about. But I've said all I can say. I'm against it. And I will continue to be against it. I will be in Frankfurt again this week. Talking to anybody.
The Constitution states that the Kentucky is to provide our kids with a education, and now they're wanting to put it off on districts. You give your kids an education, if you got the money, you can afford it.
They're also, it's not just teachers, it's, it's not just education, it's state employees with their pensions and state employees with their insurance. Retired people. My wife sitting in this audience right now, it's going to cost her over $700 more a month to pay for her insurance because she happened to retire at the wrong time. I don't want to paint this any other way than what it is. It's an attack on all of us. I'm
You
sorry.
said, Vic, it's a push for charter schools.
Huh?
It's a push for
Yeah.
charter schools, and
And for taking the money, letting the vouchers follow kids to other schools. They say, oh, well, you're just having charter schools in Lexington and Louisville. It's not going to come to Eastern Kentucky. Yeah. It's going to come if we let it come. I'm sorry, Mr. Superintendent, I guess I've spoken
No, I
outside
agree
of
with
it.
you.
But I know you do. I just, I'm sorry. I'm really not sorry.
What do you need for us to do?
Need a motion on the
Yeah.
staffing policy.
Yeah, for now. You have a copy of it in your.
How much does it change from last year?
It makes an art and music. Right now, every school has an art and music person full-time in their buildings. It goes back to having one itinerant person. And then the other one, office staff, takes it down from 3 to 2. We still got the same number of office staff as we had when the schools had 500 kids. It affects elementary and middle. High school, they need a full-time tennis court, full-time finance. All the elementary schools are right almost half the size of what they used to be. So we gotta continue to get smaller. I think that was the only changes. I think we made the middle school principal, assistant principal, 450 instead of 400, but right now it's under 400 anyway. Hope it goes back to it. We have 450 kids at the middle school. It'd be a great problem to have. As of right now, it's not. Because it affects the elementary, middle school. Elementary is office staff, and art and music, and middle school is office staff. It was down from 3 full-time to 2. And that's something that's, it's perfectly reasonable.
Mr. James, have you spoken to someone who you have in mind as an itinerant art and music?
No, I have not. We'll look at certifications. And the reason we say art and music, right now there's a substitute one, because we didn't have elementary teacher fill it. Then we have then we got 2 other people. One's does art and music, the other one is certified art and music, K-12. So I'll speak to, if this board passes this, and I'll speak to both of them. They're both tenured, so they both have a job. Like I said, if we comes back where we can afford it, then by all means. I recommend that we put them right back. I just don't, it's more protecting ourselves, because we know we have increased costs, that we know it's gonna hit us, and that's not even counting what our state budget comes from. So, these are, say low hanging fruit, but these are things that are, you know, my main goal is to protect the classroom. I think that's what makes a difference. The classroom teacher makes a difference. And, we want all these things for our kids, and they're gonna get it. It's just, we need to change as well. We gotta live within our means.
Okay, if no one else has any comments or anything on this, I need a motion.
Yeah, I just, I hate that it's, and I don't blame, Superintendent James. I, again, go back to the, charter school king in the concrete, castle down in Frankfurt. But, I hate that art and music and the humanities are the first that are let go, and it's like the humanities are what makes us human. And there's a lot of people in powerful positions who would want to do away with all art and music and humanities, whether they have to need cuts or what. They'd like to cut it all because they don't want us to be human. Because if we're not human, we're easier to be kept in our place. We're easier, as Mick Jagger says, under my thumb. We're easier to not speak up and to be manipulated. It's a big thing with the humanities. But I'm pleased that Mr. James has agreed, and I know him to be a very truthful man, that if things change in the budget, that the schools may return to having their own art and music, or more instruction in art and music.
Absolutely.
I know you will, sir.
Motion, I need a second. I'll second, have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I regretfully will go along, my only reason being that we can't go completely broke, and this will be a cost saving.
I feel the same way that Nikki does. Of course, my wife being an artist, of course,
Right.
I always push for, and she always pushed for arts and humanities. And of course, I noticed Larry passed out the district, as far as the Governor's Cup scores, district scores. And I noticed that Jeremy Copley, arts and humanities, scored the highest score in the state of Kentucky. And that's very impressive. And I just like, we've got kids that, given the opportunity, can succeed in those areas, and it's, again, I regret too.
They'll still get that opportunity.
Yeah. I think we all realize every student needs this. We do. So our next is going to be discussion of possible action on non-resident contracts for the school year 2018-2019 for Pike County, Johnson County, Floyd County, Painesville School District, and Lawrence County.
That's just the usual non-resident contracts we have with them. They get some of our kids, and then we get some of theirs. We've been doing it for years.
I'll make a motion. A motion, accept. I need a second.
This is your recommendation, isn't it, Mr. James?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll second it.
Have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is going to be discussion and possible action to surplus 2 8-foot and 1 10-foot lunch tables and a 2002 Ford F-350.
The F-350, it's an old maintenance truck, and we're basically just giving it to transportation so they can fix it up and use it as a mechanic's truck. That's kind of silly, but different funds and all that stuff, but that's basically, we're going to allow them to use it as a mechanic's truck. And the lunchroom tables, Marcy,
I replaced tables at Warfield Elementary and Inez Elementary, those are just
all the ones that are broken.
And we can't just throw stuff away, so we have to declare them surplus first.
Make a motion.
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. Discussion and possible action to accept Kentucky Education Technology, KETS offer for assistance for funds to be escrowed.
They give us money, we can accept it, and we always escrow it, because it says you can escrow it for up to 3 years. So you might spend it next year, we might spend it next year, but we got 3 years to do it, so we always choose the safe side and choose 3, and so we have it when we need it. I recommend we do that.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion, I need a second. A second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is discussion and possible action on memorandum of agreement with Kentucky Safe Driver Force.
What
This
exactly
is,
it?
okay.
Ms. Williams.
It's for the graduated, the graduated license program. This is the driving course that students have to take prior to getting a full license or whatever. They can either take it when they have their permit or when they first have their license. So it's taught by a state trooper, it's a 4-hour course, and they're gonna teach it at school.
This is the first time
After
it's been
school.
offered, right? And this is free, their school?
Yeah, it's free as far as I know.
It's
Yeah,
offered in Rexensburg, but
it's just convenient for the kids. It'll be taught after school. It'll begin at 3:30.
That's great.
Make a motion.
Have a motion to accept, I need a second. Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item's gonna be our superintendent matters.
I think Roland already let you know during the work session, we had a pre-bid meeting for the Eden roof, the middle section, and canopy. We're accepting bids. We'll open bids next Wednesday, and kind of go from there. Disappointed in the number of bidders that showed up today, but hopefully we'll have more interest than just 2. But we're hoping for a good process.
Thank you. Administrative and staff reports.
We don't have anything tonight.
Martin County Educational Association report.
Nope.
School reports.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, no one has applied for a public comment tonight. So our next item is going to be a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion.
Move.
A motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you everyone for coming.